Alright, my homies, spoiler free. I managed to get away without any spoilers. Let's see what happens. Last game, if I'm gonna be honest, I was thinking, I was playing the other games over and over in my head, and I remembered freaking Uzi trolling, taking the turret. They could have just finished. They could have ended Fnatic. To be honest, the three games weren't that close. Like game 3 was RNG just inting it heavily. They could have done Baron, they could have ended, and I don't know, man. I just feel like RNG is 100% the better team today. Let's take a look now. Same bans as before for Fnatic. Looks like a Tristana first pick. Royal Never Give Up. Probably gonna just respond with a Jarvan Galio. Tristana ban. Ooh. Maybe Fnatic will be the ones picking up Jarvan and Galio this time around. I wonder if Galio is a more important piece in the Jarvan combo, or you just take Jarvan because he's more consistent and Tristana's out and Kaelin's also out, and a lot of the 80s that can actually jump out of Jarvan can just you can just lock it in. Okay, that's a Galio. Right, RNG should probably take Jarvan away now, and I don't know if you should just take Taric. Taric is something that was banned in previous games. I think that was what Tristana ban replaced, and I think Taric is quite decent as a champion, especially when all of these OP supports are out of the picture. I think Taric Jarvan rotation and then pick AD carry third is a good way to do it. I think unless like there's some priority here on Kog'Maw, but I think RNG might not be completely keen to play it after the previous game where he got kited like a dog. I don't know if it was because of his build, and he went Random's Omen, Frozen Mallet and no boots. Okay, that's a Twitch. Twitch with no, like Twitch with last pick support might be better. I'm personally a big fan of Twitch Taric as a lane, because you can stealth up with the stun and then pop open on people, and you can actually make use of the ultimate quite well. Like when you open and you just spray and pray, and you got that Twitch going on for you, then it's pretty juicy. But I think the main thing here is that they'll be able to pick. Okay. Support options, I don't know, there's Alistar, there's Braum, there's Trundle. Like Trundle is not bad at all, right? Like Trundle against Taric is something that works. I think it's very likely as well that the enemy team will have an immobile AD carry. So I think picking Trundle here is definitely decent. Okay, seems like we're gonna go the Shen route instead. I'm curious to see what RNG ban for the Shen. They're obviously gonna last pick their mid laner. I think here as well as RNG have the option to also ban ADs. Varus could be one, Kog'Maw could be one. Like Kog'Maw could be a good ban. I think Kog'Maw is probably the best AD. Vayne is out now. I think Vayne is not that great, but against Shen and Jarvan, Vayne could be very effective. Let's see what is this a Kog'Maw ban here? I think the main issue here with Galio mid lane, if you don't have like a super carry down bottom, then you probably have to send it top. I think the main thing here with Galio is that he knows that he's going to lane against Shen, so there's a big possibility we might just see a Galio top in this case, like unless they fucking pick Jinx or something. But I don't know. Like if you go, like if for example Varus gets picked here, then Fnatic I don't really have like a high DPS carry, and I think picking Sivir against Twitch is suicide. Picking Ezreal is also bad. Like what are the AD carries on the game? Kaelin's banned. Like there's Ashe, but I think Reckless Ashe is a meme. Rakan is banned. We've seen Rakan Twitch a couple of times, got pushed in, but this was Rakan Twitch against Janna lanes. Janna has been permabanned for a long time now, rightfully so. I do prefer not permabanned. We saw it 2 games today and Fnatic lost both of them. What is the support pick against Taric? It's a Trundle. Oh, Soraki. Forgot that my boys in gold played Soraka. Soraka should be great against Taric. Depends on the AD that they pick. I think Fnatic, together with Taric, I don't know. Whoa. No. Reckless is laughing. I hope this is Galio top now. This has to be Galio top, right? I think if you don't go Galio top, you're gonna be... You know, you need some mid laner with some burst here. We need like a Syndra up in this one. Maybe like an Oriana. But then like the delivery system for Galio is quite poor. I don't know. Okay. I don't know, man. Soraka's gonna out heal. Soraka's gonna out heal all the damage, man. It's gonna be crazy. Like Fnatic need to win in 10-15 minutes. At least it's gonna be a quick one, right? Either way, I think RNG are happy. Like if the game goes on and they're even at 20 minutes, then you know it's free potatoes for them. But the main thing here, Koki against Galio, I think it's a tough matchup for Koki. Like Koki with Bloodlust, sure, he can, you know, survive the lane. He's not gonna get harassed down. But you know, in the end, Galio's gonna be able to push for a very long time, and then you know, Galio's gonna love buying MR. He's gonna buy Ninja Tab. He's gonna buy Adaptive Helmet, and he's gonna do all that fancy jazz against Corki, and Corki's gonna have a rough time. I think it's important to highlight. So I think Corki isn't like a counter pick in any kind against Galio. I think Galio is a great pick against Corki, but Corki definitely scales well into this game. I think you know, if you play against this team, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Uzi is running Cleanse. If Soraka is running Cleanse, you know, Cleanse is fantastic here. I think Corki 100% is running Cleanse, and we'll just have to see. I think when it comes down to Fnatic's combo, I don't know, man. I'm not too sure. Like their bottom lane matchup isn't the greatest. They're also playing against Shen. So the other enemy team have a lot of power in the early game. They have the Corki package to alleviate a lot of pressure. And I feel like the issue here is that I think Twitch Soraka is actually going to beat the Varus and Taric. Whoa, Jahu, my brother, why are you not running Cleanse? He is bold. You know, Uzi is running Cleanse and he's not running Cleanse. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy talk. Jahu needs to get reported right now. You know, this is easy Cleanse game. To be fair, you know, TP on Corki against Galio, you know, it's hard to get a good base off early on in the game, and Galio, when he has TP, he can push in, TP back to lane with new items, and you won't be able to base ever. Now, this is one of the strengths of Galio. He can push, get a good base. Usually, a lot of these TP users are the ones that can't base properly, and you know, Galio is not one of them. Uzi is running Fervor. He's quite bold. Of course, he has a Soraka for the heals, so it's not that big of a deal. Not that bold. Shen up top against Gnar. Early on, he can trade. Like, he can land some taunts and trade with him, and then eventually, like, Gnar is gonna just chip him down. But Shen is one of those top laners that can survive on this tower for a long time. Hard to dive him. We'll have to see here, like, eventually, of course, I think Gnar is going to be useful in the game, but I just find it problematic. You know, Soraka is one of those champions that can deal with Gnar very well, because Gnar's jump-in is quite telegraphed, and when he ults and W's, also telegraphed with a nicely based silence. It can turn sour quite fast. Gaps is helping out here a bit. Interesting. He just came down there to help out. Okay, well, pace-wise, it seems like Broxa and his squad is like Broxa and RNG are quite even footing-wise. But I don't know, like Broxa also got leash, but both of them got leash. It seems like you know, wolves are just easy to kill when comparing to raptors. But raptors is such a premium camp. If you can kill them early, like getting them again is pretty juicy. They're positioned around mid lane, the place you want to be most of the time, and they also have like these juicy small ones that die very quick. So as now gets taunted, EQ lands, TP comes in, so I should be deaded. Ooh, alright. That's a E flash. Puts him too far away. Ooh, what the? Oh, Fnatic. Fnatic. Oh, the creep. Shit. Holy moly, this is so close. It's crazy though here. How MXG can get the last auto off. Both summoners are up here on Shen and Jarvan. Crazy stuff. Holy moly, this is so close. But interesting how both junglers stop bottom side. They both get leash. This is something RNG are aware of, right? That Broxah got leash from bottom, but Caps with the juicy TP play, and Yahoo is nowhere to be found because he's not gonna impact the situation at all. Maybe he can pick up a kill, or maybe Galio, but you know, Corki is keeping his freeze in the mid lane, so he's happy. Shen's gonna TP back top. But great counter gank here. Good recognition here of the TP situation. I thought this TP was completely useless. I thought Nara was just dead. But Soa survives with what is it, like 20 HP here? 20 HP. Crazy stuff. Worked out, and then he comes back in. Healing potion is taken. Q is not landing on anything, and then Broxah smacks one down, and then MXG survives with very low HP. So Broxah even further can snowball this by taking the enemy jungle camps. You can go and take like the golems, etc. And Shen is gonna TP back up top to just catch the wave, and he shouldn't lose too much. But big deal here that Sejuani is getting so much. But I think Broxah is doing the wrong thing by not invading and actually taking over some jungle camps, because I think he could put MXG a bit behind here, and I think it would be very positive. I think the positioning of the wave here for Soaz is quite terrible, but Broxah is around, so maybe it wasn't. You know, Broxah maybe should have went a different path. Maybe you should have put like a Scarrow ward through Baron Pit to actually put in the enemy tri-bush, and then do the crab. Then Nara would have been more safe, and it would have been better. Shen caught a massive wave under the turret, and Nara lost some CS during that entire ordeal. Shen now so pushing in, but Jarvan was around, so there was no punish. TP coming in now bottom. Nara has Mega. But this is crazy stuff, man. This is crazy. At least Fnatic are playing their comp right? They need to get them dives in. Crazy stuff. Holy. No flash. Actually, Galio had flash. Fnatic, bro. Koki's coming in now, finally. He's joining the fray. Ming gets stunned up. Holy moly, Fnatic. They're playing their comp right, though. Their comp is going to fall off big time, and sure, they're picking up the kills, but RNG are still farming the waves afterwards, and that's a big deal here. So like they're diving and forcing the enemy off the tower, they're losing a bunch of CS, so it's like, sure, they're getting the kills, but it isn't like the biggest advantages you can hope for. Like, you're still, like, Uzi is still farming down bottom. Corki came back mid lane, and Shen is also pushing top. Like, this isn't the most optimal time for Nara to TP, right, CS wise. But of course, kills are kills. I think in the end, this was a good play. MXG it's crazy that he just EQs in. I think this is quite troll, I would say. And Corki is just basing before he TPs in. I think MXG is just trolling quite a bit here. Not sure what his plan was. Because right here, Fnatic just need to wait for that TP. I mean, RNG just need to wait for that TP, and then they need to go back under the turret again. And I think they would have survived. They would have probably survived here, 4v5. Whoa, what's that? Jiaohu with the sheen, shitting on Galio. And level 6 Corki, man. Like, Galio's been sacrificing a lot of waves. Oh! Shit. I don't know, man. Galio's level 6. Not like his ult would have mattered, but he comes back to lane, and he has double Dorans versus Sheen. So that's a big deal. Then Jiaohu, I don't know, I would love to just watch the progression of the trades, but it's kind of strange here how we got to have the replay replay transition into Caps being super low HP and then Caps being super greedy, and I don't know what he's doing here. Like, what was the plan? What was the plan here? Where is he going, man? Nah. No idea what the plan was. No idea. It was completely just went past me. I don't understand that. Alright, so RNG have the Shen ultimate now, and Soaz has no TP, so RNG will have the advantage on bottom side, and especially since Corki got the kill in mid lane, like the solo kill. I don't know if there was anyone else, but LPL mid laners that kill people 1v1. Here we go, there's the trade, it starts off, and Caps gets quite chunked. Xiaohu just trades on him, and it was a very extended trade. A very extended one, and what you want to do with Galio is you want to trade quick and short. The auto flies in and Xiaohu gets a killeroo. Good stuff, good stuff. Broxide is quite fed though. Like, he's been doing all his jungle camps, did the more efficient clear because he killed raptors, and on top of that, has been relevant when it comes to the kills. You know, jungle advantage doesn't matter too much, but I just wanted to highlight that he was level 6 first, and MXG was not 6, but MXG is 6 now, so it doesn't matter too much. You know, there's not a place where there's little summoners, but I think RNG could make an attempt at playing through mid lane. Zhao also has his package ready. I think Galio could get stuck in a Cataclysm, and it could be rough for him. Big CS differential for Shen top, but that's just because of Soaz's TP, nothing else. Soaz has his TP back up and nothing really happened with the Shen ultimate, so that matters. Broxah also doesn't have flash, so he could be a target for RNG. They seem to be ready for the potential dive in bottom. Cork is also moving downwards, they have the package. Broxah, his passive got procced by Der Soraki from Iraqi. You know, I have this strange thing in my head going on. Whenever I see Let Me, I hear the song, Let me entertain you. And it's actually driving me crazy. Like, if I could, I would do this without nameplates. Xiaohu with a steady grasp over mid lane, like a big CS advantage now. Obviously Caps die 1v1, so it's a big deal. I don't know, like the thing that should come next, I think with his advantage in mid lane that I just mentioned, RNG should be able to keep pressure through mid lane at all times, and I feel like the goal for RNG is just to keep the enemy team on lockdown. Like, if the enemy team is on lockdown and they're not accomplishing anything on the map, then we're okay. We're all fine and dandy here. You know, because Galio is going to be the center of what happens, and Galio wants to ult down bottom and create shit, but if Corki keeps the push going and NLG is pressuring around mid lane, clearing those pinks, putting his own pinks, playing together with Corki and the Shen, all of a sudden the game changes a lot. It's interesting how Shen interacts here with Galio, because they kind of work the same way in that sense. Obviously it matters that they are from different lanes, but I think Shen helps a lot to get mid priority, and that should be your goal against Galio. Just keep him under that tower and try to harass him as much as possible in the trades. Caps has a bit of a better trade this time around. Broxah's coming in. Zhao, who doesn't have cleanse, so this is important to highlight. Broxah might just drop the ultimate, flash comes in. I don't think it was necessary. I think Soraka could just heal and silence the Galio. Soaz uses the ultimate to harass a little bit, but Ninja Tabi, man. Ninja Tabi, OP, OP, OP. Okay. Xiaohu should have Trinity Force money. Should be juicy here. Ninja Tabi buy on Galio. He knows what's up. Also Abyssal Mask, I'm not too sure. I think Adaptive Helmet is so good against Corki, it's crazy. But maybe we'll see some AP Galio coming in here. Maybe like Leandri's Torment for some DPS. Like he has good base numbers, so buying spell penetration is not that bad. I just feel like Fnatic might have a problem in the DPS apartment if we go on for a long time. But to be honest, like I don't think the lack of DPS matters. It's like they are falling off regardless, so they need to get like a bigger advantage here. Like 2k is still fine, like it's still fine. Fnatic just need to find a way to make a play into bottom. That is like their goal for sure. And Brox is playing around bottom, and Jahu has been looking to play base for a very long time. I think Jahu should just burn his TP and come back to lane with TP, and I think that would solve their crisis here. But Jahu has this big issue that he never based. He's going now to take red buff. Interesting. He got the blue buff. Oh, he's just helping. He's just helping. Where I completely missed when Fnatic got top tower. So this was going down. Okay. And then TP into top lane. Okay. Caps TPing top to get top turret. How did I miss this? I must have been looking elsewhere or some shit. Well, of course, Fnatic get first tower. It's a big deal now for Gnar because he can push all the way and actually have a lot of time to make something happen bottom and make Shen lose a lot of CS if he decides to come instantly. So the main idea is Gnar can push in all the way. It was a free tower to pick up because Gnar did a lot of damage from before. And Caps used his TP with not a lot of punishments. It was strange how Jahu just went and helped Jarvan and his own blue buff. I think maybe they were expecting Gnar to come and invade or do something cheesy because Gnar has priority from top. But nevertheless, I thought the idea was to give Jahu red and maybe you could shoot some pellets towards Caps that would eventually take him out of lane. Jahu has his TP, but he's basing now for Trinity Force. Bottom tower is heavily on the siege. Uzia is opening. Whoa. This was MXG. Like, what's happening, man? What is MXG doing? Like, what was that? What was the plan here, man? There's no reasoning behind this. Like, Fnatic don't need to flash. Taric ultimate comes down, and I'm really shocked. Like, this is MXG jumping in twice and just suiciding. Oh, package and Shen ult. Rexus has flash. Good taunt, good taunt. Brox has low, he also has flash. Caps in the mix. Ooh, ooh. Is MXG just a genius? Because he predicted this. Fnatic don't have the Taric ultimate and he died for a good cause. I don't know, man. I'm still feeling like MSG, you know, he kind of just entered it. But the TP comes in and the package is right there. Boom, Shen ultimate as well. It's a big chain of stuff happening here. Reckless falls. The package comes in. How does Reckless flash? He flashes over the Varus ultimate. I think Reckless could have lived if he just ran in the other direction, like he ran bottom side. But maybe Zhao would just pop him. It's pretty simple though, like Fnatic are just disrespecting the package. More than anything, they just disrespect the package. They're low on HP, and I think after pushing in the wave, they should just back off and be happy. They ain't happy right now, you know. They saw the package popping off, and it's a big deal here that Fnatic just overextend like this. Interesting. Definitely the outcome is in favor of RNG. They should be super happy with this. They picked up 3 kills, and those kills landed on Twitch and Corki. This is how the dive started. I don't really remember anymore, but yeah, it was MXG coming in, and then MXG just committing and dying because of Varus ultimates. Strange stuff. Like, what was the idea here? Can't tell me that the idea was to just maybe the idea was to Shen ult. But this seems like it was the idea that Corki comes in with his package and then they ult in together with Shen, and then they do this. This, for me, was the plan. What MLXC did had nothing to do with this plan. Sure, he forced Taric ultimate. You can give him that much. QSS is bot on Xiaohu. Kind of a must. No. Beauty of QSS over clans is that QSS has a smaller cooldown. I think it's like half of it. Yeah, it should be half of it. Excuse me. It's been a long day. I went and watched American football. The boyfriend of my girlfriend's aunt was playing a final in American football. It was interesting, even though I don't know jack shit about the rules of American football. Bottom tower is really low. Shen ultimate is coming back off cooldown. Shen is in mid lane against Galio. Like, matchup wise, it's fine, right? Shen doesn't have to be scared of anything. He can just tank the wave in case the enemy team is trying to push the tower. And Corki is matching against Gnar, and Corki should actually beat Gnar 1v1. Definitely should win 1v1. I don't know if they'll continue these lane assignments. The bottom tower was so low, not sure what Soraka and Twitch were doing. It seems like they were just roaming towards mid lane, but the wave is already dead. And Fnatic's bot lane is for sure pointing this out and saying that Uziai and Ming are both missing. And whoa, Twitch with the blue buff. Okay, completely useless blue buff. Now Swaz is in mid lane, Kali back up, matching against Corki. Corki's gonna run towards mid lane now, Shen's gonna go top. And Corki's gonna be happy, regardless of who he is against. Hurricane on Uziai, finished and ready to go. Whoa. Wait. So one thing that I missed was when... I'm not awake today, guys. I'm not awake at all. I missed completely when Fnatic picked up Rift Herald. I need to go back and check. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So what happened right now? And the equalizing play from RNG was the Cloud Drake. Wasn't too interesting. Like Soaz was just pushing in top and then using his pressure to take a rift. I don't think Fnatic should be so happy with how the game is going right now. They need to just use Riftel to break mid lane. They need to like push out sides and rotate into it. But like right now, Gadio's in base, and this would be a pretty good timing to do it. If anything, like bottom wave is gonna slow push now towards Fnatic. And Fnatic, like if they just force now the Riftel, then they would have just been able to freaking what you call it. They would have been able to just force mid lane tower. But let's see now how Riftel is being used. It's a scenario where Twitch, Corki, and Soraka are mid lane and they have no obligation. So I was just getting silenced by Soraka. Like, sit down. Be humble. And the main thing you want to accomplish is like you want to get priority, rotate into mid lane, put Rift Herald, and then the enemy team needs to take a bad rotation. They can't push out the side, and they need to make a decision. That's like how you want to play it out when you use Rift Herald. But in this case, like Corki and Twitch were already mid lane. Jarvan was not visible, so he could theoretically be mid lane, and Shen was the only one top lane, but everyone knows how Shen works. He has a global ultimate. This chair is like the most uncomfortable chair ever. Holy moly. Alright, we got some Randuins popping off. Randuins is a massive item against Twitch and Corki. They're very crit reliant, and it's going to be a massive buy for all of them. RNG can continue to play this game while they just play the game slow, because the game is fairly inactive and it's making me yawn, but RNG can be very happy with that. Like Shen is gonna go match bottom because right now Nash is going to be relevant. Shen's gonna catch bottom, and I think Corki is gonna be the one catching the sides because Twitch does in fact have Hurricane, so we can clear the waves if necessary, but Corki should be slightly better. But then there's Corki and his TP. That makes like a difference, right? Because he can TP into the potential fight in mid lane, and that's super important. Wow, a lot of money dropping from me. Still the same thing for me though. I still feel like Fnatic should be able to get priority on sides, and then they should transition that into other endeavors. But as it stands right now, it's like Gnar versus Corki. I think Gnar should win, but I'm not 100% certain. Like, he doesn't have any MR, and you know, sure, Jiahu doesn't have Sorcerer Shoes, so there's not much penetration going on here. Corki based and didn't get any items. I think he's just saving money for Infinity Edge. Very uninteresting Drakes too. It's like Sure, they have the Galio, but Fnatic don't have the best engage in the game. Speaking of engage, that's one. I think MLG just needs to be a tad bit careful because this is not working. This was, I don't know, the third time MLG just engages without like reasoning. Like right now, both flash, but he gets CC down. Like there's a huge CC chain happening here, and he was CC during the entire time, like 5 seconds straight. So it was well played from Fnatic to layer that very well. And it's strange to me to see MLG just keep like he just engages these fights he really shouldn't engage. Like he's opening here, and then the flashes come out, you know, and you know, sure, if it wasn't the case that he gets so destroyed in the situation after they flash out, then it would have been a good play, but in this case he does. I want to see where the EQ is landing. Yeah, like by the looks of it, there's still EQ on off cooldown here for Jarvan. Yeah, I just feel the same. Like I think Corki should be off on a side lane and doing his thing. I think Corki can also be in mid lane and Twitch can be on the side lane. And then Shen does the same, and then just wait for the enemy team, wait them out, force them to dive, force them to do Nasher, and then just kill them all there. But this invade from like this engage from MLG, there's just very little that makes sense about it. Like sure, MG is in group position, Corki can't hit them in the first place, and then the Shen ultimate is just not enough here to save the Jarvan. Taunt lands on 3 important people. MLG has been disappointing this game. And now Fnatic with a 3k gold lead, they need to just continue to snowball this. Let's see now how much Uzi I can actually do here. Fnatic don't have like the best team when it comes to killing towers. They have a lot of melee potatoes roaming about, and it matters for sure. Chainburst ready on now. Most likely also getting a random zone. Should be the case. RNG have this option as well to like play. They could potentially play 2 on side lane together with Gnar and Shen. They both have TP and can TP back to situations, so maybe they could gank the Gnar together. I don't know if taking this Drake is correct for RNG, because now the next Drake spawns, and the main issue here for me with killing this Drake is that, you know, it might be Infernal Drake next. And looking how this game is projected, I think there's a chance Fnatic might still be able to like maintain a lead up until that point. And I think mixing Drakes into it is just unnecessary, because you'll win the scaling game no matter what. And Infernal Drake means so much more for the enemy team, because like, they don't necessarily have the best team for it. Like team-wise, I think RNG are happier with the Infernal Drake. But if Infernal Drake helps you as a team, it's about the scaling portion, and RNG are already outscaling the enemy hard. So as long as that stands, you know, I think it's completely fine. Like the Infernal Drake is not going to matter for you in that situation. Like Infernal Drake is going to kick in later on in the game, and that I feel like that is not going to make a difference for you, but it might make a difference for the enemy. And there are arguments for, you know, of course, stat-wise, it's going to have much more impact for RNG. I just want to clarify that. I just think the Drakes being Cloud Drake is very positive for RNG. And next Drake is also Cloud, and they're gonna move them around the map like the wind. Feels like Fnatic. I feel like this is the only option they have, is to eventually just force Nasher. Shen being bottom, I think Corki should have a hard time against Nar should, I mean, Corki should have an easy time against Nar. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Corki is very high on CS, and on top of that, he has the Shen ultimate to support him in the worst case scenario. So I think Xiao should win the side lane pretty hard. He is also running against someone that bought Chain Vest, so that means he's investing in armor, and armor is useless against Corki. Well, at least it's like 10% effective against Corki. Pretty stale game. RNG just don't have to do anything. They're happy with a pretty stale game. They're controlling the sideways very well with Corki, and the last Whisper is now finished on Twitch. Interesting. So now, speaking of some plays Fnatic could have done, right? It's in a lot of cases it's Shen that kind of blocks that from happening, and I feel like the longer and longer we go into the game, I feel like the windows are closing for Fnatic to have like an opportunity to actually do something, because before QSS on Corki was there, then he was a target. Roxa got his flash, and then nothing happened out of that. Galio ultimate, sure they get some turrets, they get the outer turrets, but RNG have done like a good job of cutting their losses, except MLXG, because MLXG has been suiciding quite a lot. He was jumping in left and right, and he has died a total of 3 times now. And MLXG has been very bad in this game. Xiao on level 17, that's going to be a massive deal. Like, Xiao is really, really strong by now, and I think they could even send him into bot lane to maintain the push. But right now, comparing RNG's split push, comparing their team fighting, I don't know, man. Some insane CC needs to land. Fnatic. With the Baron attempt, I just don't see what else they can do. Like, they can look for an engage and hope maybe they land on Soraka. They can look for engages on Jarvan. That could be a target. He doesn't have Mercury threads, and he could be potentially, one shot through the CC. We've seen that happen multiple times against MLXG, and Twitch is out of hand already. As the last Whisper, he can deal with tanks, and all the core items are finishing up here for RNG. No adaptive helmet from Gali, who went for the Abyssal Mask. No AP either. I can't help but feel here that, the game is going to be super hard. It's really, really stale, and I feel, at this point in time, it's hard for me to think of a move that Fnatic can do to actually win pressure. GA third. I'm not too sure about GA third when your entire enemy team is full of tonks, man. So I'm not too sure about this Guardian Angel third. I think it should have been like Infinity Edge, or maybe Last Whisper against health. Like, the enemy team has all the health. Blade Running King is just fantastic. Last Whisper could be nice too. I don't know. I think GA is just feels wrong. Feels very wrong. Holy shit, Sword is getting smacked, but it's to be expected. Like, Corki is pretty fed level wise, and he's doing great. Corki is so freaking strong right now, and the entire Fnatic roster is just gonna fall down. I don't know, they are super inactive, and I think it's a big issue for them. I think RNG were handling their side waves really, really well. They were pushing at the right time and going into mid at the right time, and eventually, like, Corki just ended up being so far ahead that he's level 18 now before anyone else, and Shen can support him on the side lane, and Uziah is also level 16. It's a big issue. You know, I want to kind of go back and just look at 20 minutes and onwards. 20 minutes, what happens? We had engage in mid, MXG dies. Okay. They got the mid tower, tried to push further. During this time, Corki pushes bottom. Fnatic, base. Okay, so one time they don't base at the same time. So Galio is late on the play now. They have mid priority and they don't really create anything. Joe takes Cloud Drake. Then Galio is back on the map, pushes top, and Varus and Tarek can rely on him very safely. They're maintaining push. Why is Galio walking all the way to mid lane? So I think this is a mistake. Galio is walking all the way to mid lane when Sejuani and Tarek and Varus already have mid priority. I don't think Galio needs to walk all the way. Like, he can be bottom, like he can be top side and start pushing the next wave. But like this, it's not that great. You know, he's just running around here and Shen gets to push out and Corki gets to push out, and there's not really any pressure. I think he needs to use Galio ultimate way more and use it as a tool here to look very strong. So we had that one moment. Shen pushes in top. Galio goes to catch. And then 3 members on Fnatic base, which puts Galio in a position where he doesn't belong. He's just starting to recall, pushes the wave. It's not too terrible. Hold on, I'm so... I'm like spacing out completely. I don't know why. I feel like I missed the point. So Galio is up top. Tarek and Varus. I think we went through this one. This was when Shen pushed out top. Some punches on Baron. And then Varus and Tarek are moving towards mid lane. Galio was basing top, and Galio was not necessarily impacting it at all. He's gonna base here. Like, Galio is in base and walks towards bottom, which makes Varus and Tarek's priority in mid lane kind of useless because Shen is just staying top and Galio is in a transition period. So there was a lot of swapping around that delayed the game because they wanted to have the right matchups. And then now, like, the vision in the backside of the jungle is just too big of a deal, which gives, like, right here, the passage that Jarvan has built for himself towards Nashor is just too safe. And if anything, Fnatic need to just deal with that. Like, RNG are giving up all their mid waves. So I think they can go deeper. They can go deeper and they can just sit and bait. These vision wards are just too important. They're giving RNG basically all the information they need to stall this out, and Fnatic with triple sweeper, they just need to be able to sweep all the way in. Right now is a position where RNG don't have much vision. Third Cloud Drake for RNG. So it's to trade on bottom once again. I think the wave management has just been crisp from RNG. think there was a big issue here with Fnatic. A lot of the time based separately. They didn't base at the right times. They are not right times, like they based at the right times, but they didn't base together, and that usually puts someone behind. And if 4 people base and 1 person doesn't base, then you still have to wait to play the game until the 5th person that based very late is going to be back in the game. It's basically like, think of it as if you know the enemy wants to base and he's starting to recall and you know he's going to go into base, it's like starting a death timer, right? When you start recall, it's like starting a 10 seconds death timer. So if you guys view it like that, maybe it's more understandable that being in base, you know, imagine you're 45, all of a sudden you do so much more and create so much more. Of course, you know, it's like home guard matters, and there's some matchups that matter, and there's some movies you can't really affect or change, and it's important to factor in. RNG, once again, just smooth rolling, very happy. Twitch has 4 items now, Corki has 4 items. It's crazy though. RNG, you know, I don't think they look too good in this series here. They made a lot of mistakes in terms of pushing. Like, not in terms of pushing, in terms of getting caught. I feel like MSG got caught a lot. I think there was cases where Zhao got caught a lot, Let Me got caught. And can't help but feel that there has to be greed on RNG side. And Fnatic right now, they don't have a lot of choices. I'm gonna slow this down. I just think their composition is falling off farther. Like, the later you try to do this, the worse it's gonna be, right? So 36 minutes into the game, Fnatic making their first kind of proactive play sends them taking mid tower. It's been a while. And Broxa secures it. Okay. I'm still super worried that they are even against this RNG roster. I think there's a big chance that RNG just slaughtered them here in the pit afterwards. Uzi is around. Uzi gets spread too. Doesn't have to cleanse. Ult of Soraka. Oh. Bye. Hello. Okay. How do you win with this team comp now? Like, the enemy team have clans, QSS. You're not gonna kill Corki or Twitch ever. We just needed more things in the mid game to happen. After the mid tower fell, then more things had to happen. Like, early on was good. Fnatic got some frags and they did some dives and they were very active, and they just eventually gave up on that. And I think part of it is RNG. They had good minion wave management, and Fnatic, they based unevenly, didn't base together, and on top of that, they were lane swapping a lot in terms of like trying to match Galio against Corki and Nara against Shen. It was just a bit wonky, and we just never did it. Like, switch back. They always wasted time switching back because they based at the wrong time, because they had the wrong matchups, and then they walked, and then the other person based, and then they walked, and just a lot of wasted time in general. OZI on the Twitch doing a shit ton, man. I think it's crazy that Reckless is running Warlords here. I think he's a big pussy for doing that. Wait. What is wrong with me? When did RNG do Elder? Or they just did Elder after that kill on Galio? Fnatic did Baron and RNG did Elder Dragon. Holy moly, I am so donezo today. I don't know why, man. I'm stopping up, you know, when you're super tired, you stop up and you just look somewhere. Like, I had a long ass day, a really long ass day, and I just want to get this game or this series out of the way. I don't know, man. Fnatic started off good. They started off good. Like, they started off by doing a lot of good things, and it just didn't pan out here. It just didn't pan out at all. Look at this virus all spreading, though. It's like spreading to everyone. It went through the entire team. That's pretty cool. But no way of one-shotting Uzi, and Uzi is just one-shotting them instead. Corky's coming in now, and the DPS from Corky's Poison, I mean Twitch Poison and Corky Rockets is absolutely bonkers right now, and they get an insane amount of move speed. But MLXG, once again, balls deep, but he doesn't have, the enemy team doesn't have a lot of damage. Like, he survived for so long. Like, the W of MXG is just making him live for ages, and look, everyone's just dying. Holy moly, like, they have the biggest frontline ever, but this frontline just doesn't matter. The game should be over. RNG should just win. I don't know. Really unexcited about Fnatic's draft. They need to gain so much for this to work. Like, gain so much. And I think RNG they just cut their losses properly. I think they were fine with losing some turrets here and there. And the dives early on, even though they looked good, Fnatic didn't really deny anyone CS. And you know, it was hard to get excited about Fnatic after the loss against RNG. After the loss against RNG, it was really hard to get excited about Fnatic. You know, their victory, like their losses, I think RNG kind of stomped them. They just had control of the entire game. It wasn't necessarily like a stomp, but you would never think to yourself that Fnatic actually like had a chance of winning those matches. And then game 3, Soaz was delivering big time and playing beautifully, and it was pretty insane, you know, what Soaz was doing. And then I think Uzi also was trolling by taking the damage from tower, and also the situation where they didn't take Nasher. There was a lot of inting from like Royal Never Give Up. I was almost calling them OMG, but RNG definitely like a team to look out for. But I feel like this matchup, this game here, some of these games that they played here, a lot of catches were happening. They were getting caught out a lot, and I think that's a big issue. They were getting caught, and if someone ever like you know, faces RNG, which is gonna happen, right? We're gonna see RNG versus SK Telecom, and that's going to be a big deal. Holy shit, man! It has to be. You know, looking at this, it is freaking rough. You know, like a lot of people would say, you know, it's staged. He's crying about a game or whatever. You know, this isn't just a game. You know, imagine, you know, as a player, you have your regular season, and you have to legit like pour your heart out every day to be successful. You know, being a pro player at a team that goes to the World Championship, it is absurd how much hours and effort you have to put into it. Especially, you know, we are season 7 into it, and it's becoming more and more professional, and the competition is becoming more and more harsh. The amount of effort these players are putting in to compete at the highest level is absolutely crazy. Just think about it. Most of the teams have like team sessions, scrim sessions together, upwards like maybe 8 hours, you know, if you count like reviewing and other stuff like that. You know, 3 hours of game, it's like 6 hours of game time. Usually you play 6 games, and then there's reviewing to it, and there's a lot of other factors. And then on top of that, you gotta grind out solo queue, man. And doing this day in and day out and keeping a positive attitude and bringing a lot of good energy to your team and also always looking like ahead, it's exhausting, you know. It's very tiring, but in the end, like the glory that you can gain at the end of it is definitely worth it. But it's important to recognize, you know, Perks also like shed some tears that, you know, I think it's completely normal. It's completely normal, and I think it's very few people that actually understand what people go through when these things happen. You know, it's like it's just a part of the passion. You know, part of the motivation. You know, I cried once. It was when I qualified to the World Championship, and usually the way I function is I come into things with no expectations. I just want to come out of it making sure that everyone did their best, and whatever happens, happens. But you know, the emotions got the best of me. You know, usually I do a good job of being like stone cold when it actually matters, but it's in some cases it's impossible. It's impossible. It becomes too much, and you just let go because you've been holding on to that for such a long time. You know, you can't. You have to set aside your own emotion. You need to look at the greater goods. And Reckless year has been like a roller coaster. You know, he's done a lot of improvements, and it's very obvious that Reckless has made a lot of like personal changes, personal strides. You know, like the way he plays this year was phenomenal. He came out with this new play style. He all of a sudden became like the center of proactiveness for Fnatic. So he made like massive changes, and this takes a lot of effort, you know. Old habits die hard, is what they say. And Reckless this year has been crazy, you know. There's been, you know, he's MVP of the European splits, and then, you know, Fnatic has had their ups and downs, and then they had like this miracle run. I think there's no shame in what happened, no shame at all. I think Fnatic got further than a lot of people expected. You know, I think as a team they stopped progressing. They had a very high. They like in the beginning they peaked very early, I feel, and ever since they stumbled, they had like such a whenever they were up, that the stumble down was so far down, and it just seemed like it was hard for Fnatic to bounce back. And Fnatic, when they were under the gun, definitely performed a lot better than in other cases, and I think this was a major issue for Fnatic, and kind of put them in situations they shouldn't have been in. You know, they came in as a third seed. Their group wasn't that bad. You know, it was one of the better groups for the European teams, I would say. And oof, Fnatic. You know, I think it's completely reasonable to shed tears, man. You put everything on the line. You know, you put your body and soul, your sweat and tears, your blood into something, and that's what it is, you know, definitely. But nothing but respect for the Fnatic boys, you know. Wait, why is Reckless not coming up, man? Now that I don't like. He should be coming up there, man. He should be together with his team, and you know, I think that's something you gotta do. You know, even I, with experience like this, can't completely understand what he's going through, you know. Okay. Okay. Fnatic's out. RNG is in. You know, I think there's a big chance RNG might win Worlds. If they don't get caught like they do and do stupid shit in the games like they do, man, RNG can look magnificent. But the way they're getting caught sometimes reminds me of the finals against EDG. RNG, you know, and there was not ounce of doubt in my bones that they would win this matchup. You know, I was really, really certain about this. You know, I was tweeting out about how RNG can abuse SK Telecom, because really I think this was a game that was really easy to predict. This game, you know, when I reviewed it, holy shit, I was lacking energy. I was out of it, man. I was completely out of it. That is my bad. But to be honest, this game was... it's just so difficult to find redeeming qualities with the draft of Fnatic, you know. Shen into Gnar is not like super tilting towards Gnar. Soaz did a good job and chunked the turret, Caps TP'd up, target the first tower. Some diving going on down bot lane, but it didn't seem to affect the bot lane matchup at all. Twitch Soraka, they were completely fine the entire time. They backed off at the right time as well when they would lose their tower. MLXG did some heavy inting, you know, he was doing some heavy inting. And then on top of that, like, there was some bad Drake spawning from Fnatic, you know. Imagine if there was some other Drakes, maybe it would have been a lot better. If they would have been Infernal Drakes there, then, you know, it would have been a better situation too. And then the game just took a nosedive. Nothing happened for a long time. Mid tower was the last thing that happened, and then there was just a 10-minute farm it out thing going on. And RNG were very good at controlling the side waves, and I think Fnatic slipped up by basing at the wrong times. They were not basing together, not pressuring together, and they were also wasting a lot of time swapping after the enemy team, which was a bit necessary, right? I think this was a curveball that RNG threw against them, and you know, Galio had to go against Corki because of itemization, and Gnar was buying armor, you know, and maybe it wasn't the best buy, but at least he would survive against Twitch in a team fight a little bit longer. But a lot of props to RNG and how they played the defensive game and actually pushed out the waves when they could. You know, they were given these opportunities by Fnatic and their mistakes, but you know, even if Fnatic executed this properly, it's not 100% sure that they would have just won, you know. In the end, I feel like RNG had a better draft. They had more win conditions to play towards, and that summarizes it. I'm sorry for the lack of energy. I'll see you guys some other time. Peace out. Boom.